Welcome back to another episode of Answers Only with your host. I'm Fahad, and that's Amit, and we got Tyler Monell as our second guest. How you doing, Timo?
Doing good. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here too.
First time.
What's that?
First episode. Pretty good. Like Joey B.
After Joey B, man. You got to hold up pretty strong, man.
Good follow-up, yeah.
My favorite part about that whole thing was your first question was, so, like, how are you with the kids? And he goes, okay, well, this has got several layers to it. And then he went on for 10 minutes about how he's been doing.
He went literally into depth with, okay, this just got serious. It wasn't so serious.
Yeah, he was asking how he's doing. He was like, all right, well, this has got some layers to it.
All right. Well, Timo, we've all met in high school back at our age. Yeah. A lot of good times. And we all also went to MCC, which is, as you know,
place.
It's an interesting place. Definitely an interesting place. Yeah.
I miss it.
Yeah, I miss some of it too.
You didn't go today. Was graduation.
For MCC?
Oh, I saw your snap memory. I saw it.
Yeah, you ever go today?
Good stuff. But I was curious, what are your thoughts on transitioning from high school to MCC? Some of the differences that we saw when we went there.
So it felt like kind of just like high school, but like you just kind of showed up and left whenever you wanted to. I don't know. I didn't think it was very much difficult compared to high school. I thought it was easier than high school because we had that 80 people in high school where like 80% of our grade was tests and quizzes.
Yeah.
MCC, it was like 40 some classes, and I don't know. I just showed up, did homework.
No,
I think we all talked about it. Kind of like MCC was like part 2 of high school, but like 100 times easier because it was just I don't know. The professors were very helpful. It's not like our age teachers were bad. It was just a lot of easier work, I guess. Like we were kind of focused in.
Yeah, it felt like it was easier to get around. Like you could have one bad test and rebound, or like high school. Like if you had like 6 unit tests and you did bad on one of them, you were just like it was not easy to rebound from that.
Right. I don't know if you took any AP exams in high school, but they said that was supposed to get you ready for college, bro. AP exams kicked my butt. MCC was so much easier.
No, I mean, I will say this about MCC, though, is I really like the professors at MCC. Like, now that I'm at Geneseo, I feel like the professors at MCC were much more, like, genuine, and, like, they wanted to see you succeed, where it feels like Geneseo, they have no problem hitting you with an F. They have no problem with, like, you failed this. Like, MCC would be like, oh, you need to, like, get something done. They'd invite you to, like, come meet with them. They would find time to meet with you outside of their office hours, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, even MCC, like, I remember we used to sit in the cafeteria. It was you, me, Amit, and Dylan and Mike used to join us as well. And just thinking back, I think that little just group in MCC, it was like, oh, like, we can't tell the difference between high school and this. Like, this is just, like, what we started with.
Man, were you there the day that, like, we skipped classes and stayed in the cafeteria to watch that TV show?
Yeah.
I
don't think Amit was there, but me and Timo were there, and we skipped our next class to watch the talent show.
It was so bad. Oh, man. Everybody was, like, so tone deaf to how horrible they were, too. Like, they thought they were killing it. I
think I had, like, business 205 or something after that. I'm like, that can wait. Talent show's a little more important.
Priorities.
Going to MCC and picking to go to MCC before going to a 4-year school, what do you think the advantages were for going to community college first, like rather than just jumping into a 4-year school?
I think for one, it was a nice intro into college in a way. Because you still had those, like, responsibilities of, like, it was definitely college level, like, work. Like, you did a lot of work, but, like, maybe the test might not have been as hard. Got you prepared in that way. I had something else I was going to say, too. That and I don't know, I'm blanking.
You're good. For me, I was thinking, like, the financial aspect, too.
Oh, yeah, that's where I was going to go. That's where I was going to go.
Exactly.
So, for me, I got Excelsior. So, like, didn't qualify the first year. So the first year I had to pay. That sucked. But it was like, I think I was paying $2,500 a semester there. Yep. Like that was so cheap compared to like what I'm paying at Geneseo. Like Geneseo is still cheap, but like really cheap. Like one semester at Geneseo was almost my entire time at MCC, which is nuts.
Yeah, same thing with us. Like just kind of going to community college kind of gave us a glimpse of what's to come in college. So it was a kind of a warm-up, sort of, I could say, that, okay, maybe like I can kind of slack off right now, but as soon as the transfer hits and I go to a 4-year school, like I'm going to RIT right now, I have to focus up because now it's getting real. Like
Right.
this
It was
is
nice 'cause
real.
it also like let you work while you're doing it, like because it was kind of like high school in that way where it wasn't like super hard. Where, like I was doing my taxes like I don't know a couple weeks ago. I was looking at how much I made. I made like $11,000 like last year, 12, and I was taking 18 credits a semester, and I still finished with 3.7. So like
That's great, man. Yeah.
it was easy to do.
Right, and looking at it, man, I almost went to Canisius instead of MCC. Would have paid like $48K a year just to go to Canisius, and it was taking like English 101, just gen ed classes. Might as well just take that MCC, save like a bunch of money.
I don't know, but it's weird though, because it almost like some of those credits like transferred funny. I don't know if that happened with you guys, but like at the Geneseo, they're like, yeah, you have like 72 credits, but we're taking 60. You can pick which ones you want, but it's like I got stuck taking like Theater 100 at Geneseo, and a humanities class.
Yeah.
Same thing. I had a conversation with my advisor this semester before this whole COVID thing took over, and she was talking about these are the credits you still have to take, and one of the credits I still had to take was a science perspective. Where I already done that at MCC, so I was talking to her. I'm like, why is this happening and everything? And we had a good conversation for an hour, and I talked my way out of a science perspective. She's like, all right, I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm like, thank God. That's the only reason I'm here.
No, because that happened. Now that you say that happened to me too. I got stuck taking some bio class, and it killed my GPA.
Yeah.
I never struggled so hard in a class. I would study for like 8 hours before an exam and still get like a C. It sucked.
We talked about the positives, kind of like the financial aspect, kind of a bump starter. What do you think the negatives were to going to community college before, and then what's happening, what took place?
That place is there's some special type of people at MCC.
Yeah.
I have never seen in my life. Like my professors, like I had a professor at 8:30 my very last semester. I don't know if you remember me telling you guys about this, but he would come in and like tell us about like his 3 divorces. Like he told us about how he was abused. And granted, it's 9 a.m. Like real in the middle of class one day, and then like did it just because he wanted to show off that he could do it. So, like and he's like, look at me, praise me. What is this? I mean, the stuff we saw at the cafeteria.
Yeah.
A lot of people like play Fortnite in the libraries on the library computers.
Oh my God.
Right, yeah.
I remember going to the library, like, I need to get some schoolwork done. I look around, 4 computers in a row are playing Fortnite. I'm like, dude, go home and play Fortnite.
You can't get on the computers because there's people sitting there playing Fortnite on them.
This is intense.
And then, the video,
what's that?
The video where, like, there was some kid when, like, VR chat was big, and he was playing VR chat in the library, and he, like, changed his avatar to, like, some, like, anime girl with big he, like, walks over to the camera and like you like watch him like look down and just look there for a second and he just holds it and then he kind of looks in like the mirror. I'm like, what is going on? Like you're in a public place. Like what are you doing?
It's just even going to the library, just seeing so many interesting characters just sitting in the library. I'm like, dude, let me just focus up and do my homework. This isn't like time for social. Like go in the cafeteria and talk. Like let me do my
people
work.
Just sit there and play music off their phone, like no sounds or anything. Oh, that was I hate when people do that. It's nuts.
And that's the worst thing going to UB now is everyone's so serious. And I just think MCC. I met this one dude at MCC. He was like my business partner in a lot of classes. And then, like, I graduated. We both graduated from MCC. And I saw him, like, a year ago. I tweeted about this, too. This dude, he had a kid, and he dropped out of his business degree to become a fisherman.
I do remember this story.
Yeah.
I remember this story.
I give him props, though. He has big balls.
Can you walk us through that conversation, please? Because when I saw that tweet, I'm like, how did that even come up?
So I met him, like, in a business. I think it was, like, 400 or something. I don't know. So we met. And he was like, yo, I'm into cryptocurrency. If you want to partner up with me, bro, let's do big things. I was like, hey, bro, here's my number. Let's stay in touch, bro, okay?
So he was trying to scam you. He was trying to
I know, right?
He said he had a place in New York City. He's like, if you want to do it seriously, move in with me. I was like, bro, I'll keep you posted, okay? So,
he also knows an Egyptian prince who will put the money right in your bank account.
No, so then we finished MCC, and I text him, like, yo, hey, it's been a minute, bro. How you doing? Hope everything's all right. He was like, yeah, I got a kid. I broke up with my girl. I'm going to become a fisherman full time. And I was like, oh, you funny? He's like, I'm serious, bro. And he sent me pictures of him fishing.
Team on the next season of Deadliest Catch.
Can you imagine explaining to your kid, your dad, okay, I'm going to drop out of college, but hear me out. I've never fished before in my life, and I'm going to become a fisherman.
I've gone fishing once or twice. I figured
once or twice. So, Tyler, you said you transferred to Geneseo, right?
Yeah.
How has Geneseo kind of helped you, prepared for you for the real life that's about to come up after we graduate?
Geneseo's been interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
First semester there, I loved it. Like, I had a lot of fun. Then the second semester happened, and it's like Geneseo administration just forgot how to administer things, and they just, I don't know, like, we lost power. We lost power randomly for like 2 days.
Uh-huh.
They were like, we didn't have like heat or anything, and it was the middle of the winter. So like, well, if you're cold, like, we set up some sleeping bags in the gym. That happened. Then
what?
Controversy over like some Twitter, like a parody Twitter account, and Geneseo came in and they like took the account over and changed the avatar because like it was like a parody account and like changed stuff. I'm trying to think. There's another big thing. They've just gotten really stupid. I don't know. I feel like the professors at Geneseo are just kind of like mean. They're just like mean. I don't know. They're just mean. Everybody feel like has an ego about themselves there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Prepared wise, I don't feel like I'm any more prepared than I was at MCC. Like, honestly, I'm doing the same thing, just taking classes so far.
Yeah.
That's about it.
You talked about the sleeping bag situation. What was that like? What? Take us through what that was about.
I was like leaving work and I got like a text. My friend's like, "Did you just like lose power? Like we don't like our power like just flickered and we don't have any power anymore." Like I don't know. I'm coming back still. So I come back. I get in my dorm. And I go to my roommate, it's like, we don't have power? He goes, no, nothing's turning on. So I'm like, okay. And it was like that for like the whole night. And then we woke up the next morning, went to class, and still just no power. People were complaining to the school. They were like, it's cold. It's like 20 degrees outside. Like, I don't have heat. And they were like, okay, like, we get a lot of you are cold, and like a lot of you like might need somewhere to sleep. So the gym. Well, actually, so it was only on one side of campus too. It was only on one side of campus. So like the north side of campus, which holds like all like the sophomores, transfers, all this other stuff, and then the south side, which is just like all the freshmen. It's just all freshman dorms. Mm-hmm. And the north side that lost all the power. So they're like the gym, which is kind of like in between, had power. So like you can come to the gym has power. We'll set up sleeping bags. You can sleep there. There's like 200. Like. Thanks, I think. Like instead of fixing the lack of power, telling us to sleep in a sleeping bag. I don't know.
Did they tell you? Did they tell you why they lost power at all? Or
no, they never figured it out. I just remember hearing people like walking in and out of the buildings and fire alarms randomly going off. Yeah.
Like I'm going to RIT right now, and I think I have a different experience to what you're going through because I think RIT is preparing us pretty well with what's about to happen. Because they kind of give us sort of a freedom on this is what the syllabus is, but we're going to go 100% off of it, and we're going to try to get you real-life projects and work on this. So you're kind of prepared for when you go into the workforce. So I've had a couple of professors this semester, again, we looked at the syllabus in the beginning of the year, and we're like, oh, this syllabus just looks rough. Like, what are we going to do? And then next class he shows up, he's like, all right, we're not going to do this. We're just going to do this and that. And we're just going to get you prepared. I just talked to, like, for example, we did a project for the parking and transportation aspect of RIT. And the project was kind of like, we have electric vehicles in our parking lot, but we do not have any way of tracking them and making sure that when someone new shows up with an electric vehicle, that they'll have a spot ready for them. So what me and my group kind of really did was kind of come up with an idea of kind of creating an app. So when you do park in an electric vehicle spot, you can kind of ping it on the app, like I'm parking here from this time to this time, and when I leave, this spot will be open. Or if
like project stuff.
What's that?
Like project stuff with like implementation.
Yeah, implementation, kind of just helping us, like, this is what the real world is like, rather than taking a test after going over a unit in like 2 months or 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, so like that's the thing with like, sorry. That's the thing with like ed majors is that they're just kind of like at MCC we went and worked in classrooms like all the time. Yeah. It was just like that's always what we did. We might have like studied stuff, like talked about different like illnesses that affect kids, what's effective ways of teaching and stuff like that. But we were always doing it. Like I was getting like 20 hours one semester. I think my last semester I needed like 60. So like still doing it, and I'm just doing it now at Geneseo. It's really no different. I think that's the one thing I do like about like the ed program is that it's very much like they train you for the job by making you do it. So like you kind of like you can read all about it all you want, but like doing it is something different.
Yeah, definitely.
So like it's just I've been doing the same thing at Geneseo, but like what you're a business major, right?
Yeah, I'm a business major. Yeah,
so it's a little different.
Yeah, I think it is a little different, kind of being so. Like in UB, do you think they're doing something similar with us? Because I know you're a business major as well. Right. So do you think UB is kind of doing the same thing?
I feel like my experience is like in between you and Timo's was like my professors. I feel like they just don't care either. Like, hey, here's the assignment. If you get it done, good job. If not, you failed. I've definitely appreciated them giving us projects, being like, here's the freedom, go do it. My only problem is there's been like 3 teachers now where they just don't give me my grades. And I'll find out at the end of the semester if I pass.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's super annoying when you don't you have no idea what you're doing. You're just kind of blindly going, I think this is what I need to do.
Right.
And even when you ask them, they're like, "Oh, go check the online thing." I'm like, "Dude, it's not there."
Yeah, it's not there. Exactly. Every time it's never
office there. Hours.
Even office hours are like, I think again, RIT handled office hours well too. I would show up to my professor's office hours, and they would be like, "100%, come on in, sit down, let's go through what you're struggling through." So I don't know how other like I thought this was like something happening at every 4-year college. So hearing this now, I'm like, maybe I took it for granted at RIT.
We set up office hours, but like they're like super limited. Like it's just what the professor wants to give you. So like they can give you 2 hours, and if you can't meet in those 2 hours, oh well. Like
it's like I'm not free 7 to 8 a.m. on a Tuesday. Like
it's dumb.
It's always during like just your class time too, which is always so rough. And going back to like you're an education major and you want to get into kind of teaching, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What made you go through that path? Like I want to become an educator and I want to go into the education field.
So originally in high school, I did a lot of graphic design stuff. I really thought that was what I was going to do. Like I spent more time in Cochran's room than I think any other room in that building. Would skip classes to go to Cochran's room. Like I didn't do anything there. And that's what I really thought I wanted to do. And then I did a job shadow, and I was like, wow, this looks awful. You get paid nothing, and I'm not good enough at this to make a lot of money doing it. So I'm not going to do it. And then the teaching thing, so like when I was in middle school, my mom started she used to be a competitive ice skater. So she started up her own business for like teaching people to ice skate.
Yeah.
And she did like kids all the way up to like adults, just like basics up to like actual competition training. And so like I was probably like 13, 14.
Yeah.
It needed help in like the younger classrooms or like the younger groups, I guess. And like just kind of holding on to the kids, playing games with them. So like I did that, and then I had a lot of fun doing that. And then that kind of transitioned to like, okay, if I'm not going to do graphic design, I had fun with that. Like, why not? I didn't really expect it, like going into it, expecting it to be like something I really loved, but like now I have a ton of fun doing it.
Yeah. And Timo, what type of like, are you going to teach high school, middle school? Do you have a preference or?
Yeah, so like the ed program's broken up into 3 different sections. So you can be early childhood, which is like pre-K or kindergarten, I think, and then childhood, which is grades 1 to 6, and then adolescence, which is like middle school, high school. So like I'm childhood, so I'm just doing grades 1 to 6. If I had to like pick a grade in there, I don't know. I thought I'd do like later grades, like 3 and 4, I thought would be fun, but I'm discovering that 3rd and 4th graders aren't as fun. And they're like getting into that phase where like they're too cool to do things, and that's kind of they kind of like fight a lot, and I would rather just kind of work with like younger kids where like their fights are over like who's sharing the toy, and then you just go right, and they're like, oh, okay, cool, like things are better now.
Would you ever do high school or no?
See here, right now I know I don't have the patience because I know like if I had a kid mouth off to me right now, like I would mouth back at him, like I just know I would. Go right back at them.
Right.
But like maybe when I'm older, I can see when I'm older, I'm sick of gross kids, and I'm like, I'm gonna teach high school. This will be.
See,
It feels like high school.
even
What?
looking back on like teachers, middle school, I mean even high school, that patience level is on another level. Like I've
Yeah.
seen some kids like go bad on teachers. I'm like, dude, if I was a teacher, this is not happening right
Yeah,
now.
my sophomore year, my English teacher, it was her first year, and I remember we just made her cry. Like she broke.
I remember hearing that
We just
story.
weren't doing our work. Like she just got so upset that we were all just messing around that she just broke down in tears.
I think that's like the biggest factor for me why I couldn't be a teacher. That patient, like I have patience, but that patience level is on another level. Like that's
I
just
think like high
insane.
school though, like you just kind of set up lessons, and like if the kids do it, they do it. If they don't,
Yeah,
it's kind of more laid back. Where it's like elementary ed, you kind of have to like enforce it, because if a kid can't read, that kid's not going to pass second grade. He's not going to pass third grade. He's not going to pass fourth grade. You need to make the kid read.
yeah. So the job shadowing that you kind of did for teaching and stuff like that, how was that experience for you? Like, did you like that experience a lot, or some things you would like to change on the
Yeah,
way
I have.
as well?
So like pretty much when we go in, it was observation hours is what they want to call it. But realistically, you walk in and the teacher's like, oh, so like you're an extra pair of hands. Can you work with like this kid in this group? Set up this. So like we did almost like mini lessons. I guess the one thing that's been like kind of the coolest about it is like going to different school districts, because like I went to Rush Henrietta our whole life. When I was at MCC, we were told to set up our own student teaching times. So I went to Henrietta, and that's what I did. But now at Geneseo, like my first semester, I did one of the schools downtown. I think it was school, I don't remember. But like seeing this difference between the city schools, and then I did HFL, and like HFL and Dansville was another one I did. It's way, way, way different. Like Dansville's out in the middle of nowhere, like absolutely nowhere. I was driving down roads that look like they haven't been paved in 40 years. Like out there, like, and it was weird because they had this really old school like system where like the walls were like, I don't know, maybe 5 feet tall. Like, and it was a big open room, and there was like walls that separated each classroom into like sections, and there were like 5 feet walls. So you could look over the wall and see the other. Like, it was called like the classroom with no walls or something. It was supposed to be like some project to make kids more interactive. I don't know. It was weird. Kids had a lot more freedom out in HFL. It felt like if like kids were just walking around, like it was elementary school, and there was kids like walking down the wall, like halls, like it's like middle school in a way, and nobody. For us, there was no way. Like even going back now, like the kids are always with the teachers, like always.
Yeah.
And then like, city school is like there's security guards everywhere. I remember because like the one I was at, it was like I think kindergarten up to 6th grade. And the way that it worked was like depending on what classroom you were in, like grade level, depending on what floor you were on. So got like 5th grade, and that was in the same building that like was like their middle school, because it was also like a middle school. I don't know, it was great. And I remember some girl coming back and telling us that she saw like another kid get like tackled by the security guard because they were like start a fight. I was like,
oh my God.
Like that's nuts.
So were you ever put into a situation where, like, I know you're doing like 1 through 6th grade and stuff like that, but were you ever put in a situation like, okay, this is not good, or maybe I should change up what I'm doing here?
Not necessarily. Like, so like I work at Clubs, which is like a daycare right next to and like I've had stuff happen there that's been like really like uncomfortable in a way that like I've had to deal with. Like I had a kid who's maybe in 1st or 2nd grade, and his dad commits suicide, and like the whole him coming back and like him not really understanding what was going on, and like the whole topic of death and religion and having to deal with that with a kid so young who really doesn't know what's going on. That's tough. And then you obviously see like the kids who grow up in households that like they just don't have the means to really support them well enough.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to see, but I feel like that's where like as like a teacher, that's where you want to step in and kind of do what you do like outside of your job to like kind of do and to help that kid's life better. You know what I mean?
That's true. Especially as a teacher for early, like 1st to 2nd grade, 3rd, 4th.
Yeah.
It's almost like a second home for these kids. Like this is where they spend most of their days with the teacher. So you do play a huge role in influencing who they become and how they see life.
Yeah, that's the one thing I like about working at Doodlebox. Is it feels like you really get a relationship with the kids. So this week it's the first time I've gone back to working there in 2-3 months, and I'm so excited to see the kids because I haven't seen them in forever, and those are the kids every week. And granted, there are kids that I only see during the summer, but even them, I always get excited to see them. They have fun, and I don't know.
Looking back and kind of going back to elementary school, I remember some teachers were just very nice to everybody around them. And then some teachers would be like, oh, they're not so very nice. Maybe not talk to them like this or that. So I do have a different type of respect for educators in the school system and everything, because they have a huge job to do with the next generation coming up. Because I remember even in elementary school and middle school, the teachers really helped with a lot of things. Like Amit just said, a second home. I've had friends in the school system where this was a second home because their home lives were not as great as they would hope to be. So I think, yes, educators have a huge job to do, especially with the next generation that's coming up.
Yeah.
So Tyler, the conversation that I need to have with you.
Oh God, here we go.
Why are you a Celtics fan? Why are you a Celtics fan?
Hold on.
Oh, he's got another shirt?
I got this shirt too.
No, take it off, Tyler.
Take it off.
Listen,
Burn
had
it.
the season not ended, Lakers Celtics finals. Okay.
Stop.
What are you saying?
Here's where I
Tyler,
stop. Lakers Celtics finals. Lakers would have won. I'm sorry. They would have won. It sucks. But it would have been a Lakers Celtics final. The old rivalry is back. Undoubtedly.
Tyler, do you hear yourself
Jason
talking?
Tatum and Jaylen Brown?
What do you mean about Jaylen Brown? You mean Jalen Buckets? Get his name right. Oh my! Respect my man like that. I know you
Tyler,
see films.
do you hear yourself talking?
I know you see Instagram clips. Oh my God! You see the Instagram clips? This man's got the juice. He's look.
Tyler,
You're taking Boston over Milwaukee.
All right. Well, it would be a tough one. It would be tough.
It'd be a tough one.
It would go 6 or 7. It would go 6 or 7. But here's the thing. End of that, right before it ended, Jason Tatum was putting up 30 points per game, the whole month.
Yeah.
30 points the whole month. Not saying he would have continued that trend. However, the point is, comfortable. He's feeling good. He's scoring. He's out of his sophomore slump. Then he had Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown was also scoring 20 points per game. Kemba Walker also scoring 20 points per game. Who was it? I think it was Gordon Hayward. I don't know. They had 4 players per game at the end of the month.
I'm on with you with they have a great team, but I don't think they could have gotten past Milwaukee.
Marcus Smart, he's got the clamps.
He does. I'll give you that.
He gets in everybody's head. He gets in Giannis's head.
Hey,
Giannis can have points, but
I talk a lot of crap about the Celtics. I talk a lot of crap about the Celtics, but they're better than the Rockets. So I think.
Yeah, they are better.
No, man. Okay, look.
That's
not even saying much at this point, to be honest.
Yo, James Harden get ISO ball. That's not winning him a ring.
Timo, what's your opinion on James Harden? Is he not the greatest offensive player of all time?
Stop. What are you talking
Is he not?
Hold on.
Is he not?
He's not the greatest. He's not the greatest. Not at all. Not even close. However, he's one of the most creative. He's creative as hell when it comes to it.
He's the only player in the league. If he's the one player, if you want to get a bucket, he's the guy you choose. If you need points,
who are you
picking over Harden if you need
Kevin
2 points?
Durant, are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's a lot of area. If I got points on the line and I need a bucket,
KD.
I might. He's an option, but I'm more than likely not going to, because he's either going to miss the shot or he's going to have to come down to that free throw line.
If the conversation has been had in the huddle, we need a foul, draw a foul, yes, I'm picking James Harden. He's going to go draw the foul. But if you need a bucket, and as much as I'm the biggest LeBron fan you can think of, I'm picking KD, bro. KD is not missing that shot.
Steph.
I'm not. Okay, I'll give you KD.
I might be picking Trey Young.
Okay, calm down.
Oh, wow.
Trey, baby.
What are these takes?
He had the most points in the clutch at the end of the season, I'm pretty sure.
As a younger, generational player that's Luka and Trae Young, which person are you starting your franchise with?
Absolutely Luka. Absolutely
Luka. 100% Luka, dude.
Luka. No question. I love Luka.
I am in love the way he plays the game. It's just
I just
amazing
love watching
to
him
watch.
on the sideline, and he just does that dumb stuff where he's like sitting there and he's, you know that gif where he's sitting there going, like that's why I love Luka. He's just a goofball.
Do you think that they could potentially win a ring with him and Kristaps? With obviously moving parts around him, like they'll bring in more people, but not like they're the two main stars.
If Kristaps is healthy, he started to hoop towards the end of the season. He started at the end of the season. If he can kind of get back to that level, I think they'll be fine. But I don't win a ring. I think they still need another piece.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Kristaps is good, but the West is just loaded, man. You need a loaded team. Everybody's counting out the Warriors right now. They're kind of clowning them. They were what? Like,
dude, they're coming back strong.
But you got Steph coming back. You got coming back. You'll have Draymond. Granted, Draymond's not playing to the same level he was.
Defensive player.
But he'll still be like the Warriors will still easily be a 4-3 seed. Like, I think Portland's an overrated team in the West. I think Denver's an overrated team in the West. Phoenix, I got hope for Phoenix. I think they're on the come up.
Really?
Stop, Tyler.
I feel like they're cursed, man. Honestly, I feel like.
No, I think they're coming up. They got a lot of good young players. They just if they can develop them or trade some of them, get like a veteran on that team. I think if they have a strong like superstar veteran presence on that team, I think they'll at least be like a 4 or 5 seed.
I think Devin Booker has tremendously bettered his game, and he's still like what 22, 23.
Yeah, but I wish Booker would just get out of Phoenix. Like,
if I was Booker, I'd ask for a trade.
He's always going to get drowned out in the noise because Phoenix is such a bad team.
Right. What are your thoughts on Brooklyn with Kyrie and KD?
Yeah.
See that going anywhere? Or do you think they need another piece? Do you think they need
that team's going to win the East next year. I hate it.
100% they are.
They're winning. The Brooklyn they got Jarrett Allen too.
Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench.
Yeah, like that team's got they're strong defensively. Like they got low post. You know what I mean? They got Kyrie. They got KD. You got people who can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
I hate that I'm saying it because I hate Kyrie. I hate Kyrie. I know you've heard my opinions on Kyrie.
Yep.
I can't stand that clown.
Did you hate Kyrie before Boston, or did Boston have anything to do with it?
Boston had everything to do with it.
Okay. I just want to check.
No, my issue was when he came to Boston, he sat there and said, they're going to raise my jersey in the Raptors. We're in the championship, talked all this shit. And then he goes, nah, I'm not with it. I'm playing no more.
Didn't he like address like the whole crowd like I'm not leaving, I'm staying here, and then just dipped the next year?
That's exactly what got me mad. That's why I don't like it. He's a bum.
Right.
Now he's on here talking about flat Earth and stuff. Come on, get out of here.
I think his biggest mistake was leaving Cleveland when LeBron was still there.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have left.
LeBron elevated his career a lot. Ever since he left LeBron, he's still good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not playing the same level that he was with LeBron.
But now, like, imagine, like, he's played with LeBron, and now he's about to go play with KD in his prime.
That's a scary thing.
Yeah.
That's a scary thing. But I think, LeBron and KD play 2 different games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
LeBron's more of a presence in the post. He's such a big body, where KD, he goes in the post. He'd much rather pull up a mid-range shot over you because he's 7'5", and he's getting guarded by a dude 5'2".
I think their egos might kind of collide because LeBron was like, if you want to take the last shot, go ahead. But KD's going to be like, nah, dude, I'm taking the last shot. Like, get out of here.
I would rather have KD take that last shot.
100%.
But I don't know if Kyrie's ready to take that back step. Or maybe he is. Maybe that was his issue when he came to Boston, that he wasn't ready for the leadership role, and that was what kind of killed him. KD can take that away from him, then maybe that'll work out.
I'm kind of excited to see next year. Like, with this season kind of coming to a halt and then like, okay, let's restart it. Do you think they should have ended the season, or do you think they're doing the right thing about let's bring it back? Because I can tell you my opinion. I think they should have just ended the season right there and then like, dude, it's over.
It's hard to say because the Lakers had a lot of momentum.
Yeah.
A ton of momentum going into like the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like it started like, granted they weren't losing a lot in the beginning, but like towards the end of the season they were winning, and they were winning against good teams, and they were winning a lot. Like they really started to pick up that pace, and now even if they do come back, like I saw some tweet that was always going to be like, whoever wins this championship, if we return, like it's always going to have an asterisk next.
Yeah.
Not going to be the same. Like these dudes haven't played for what, 3 months. So
something like that.
For them to come back, it's always gonna have that asterisk next to it, because if that season had continued, I think the Lakers very easily could have won that championship. It was what I kind of wanted to see play out with what happened with Kobe. Like it felt like that was a storyline that needed to happen, but unfortunately, that's not what we get. 2020 has really sucked, man.
2020 is
Been rough.
just bad.
There were several layers to that question, actually.
So, wanting the Lakers in the finals, and I think almost every basketball fan, no matter what team you were, kind of wanted to see the Lakers kind of win that ring, even if it was like everyone knew the season was kind of being dedicated towards Kobe, which it should be because he kind of impacted the sport by a lot. And the way he played the game, like everyone says Michael Jordan 2.0, and watching The Last Dance, it kind of was. Like you can see he emulated Michael's game so much.
They both had that kind of like dog in them, you know what I mean? Where they would sit there, they would tell you sucked, and then drop 40 on you.
Yeah.
No problem doing it. Like I like LeBron. I love LeBron. Don't get me wrong. Forever. However,
he doesn't have that.
He's not doing that, and that's what I wish he would do.
100%, because I am a huge LeBron. Like, even though I'm a huge LeBron fan, but if you want to trash talk towards him, he's not gonna be like you suck. He's gonna be like, you're pretty good at basketball, and like he says that all the time. Like, dude, stop.
Handshake. No, you're good.
You're good, man. You're good.
Strive for greatness.
But if we talk about any player, dude, all jokes aside, James Harden, his ISO game is something that I don't think we've ever kind of seen. And if you do kind of need a bucket.
I'll say this about James Harden, man. Say what you want, but you can't lie. He changed the game with the step back. Now everyone's doing the step back. Everyone's going for that step back three every game.
Yeah, but
he misses it a lot, right?
Hey, no matter if he misses it, bro. He created it. I don't care what anyone says.
And he travels with it, too.
He created the
He's the pioneer of this. Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Stop it, dude. What? Oh, my God.
Between the legs and white.
If you need a player, if you kind of need a player to drop 40 a night and lose a game, yeah, I'll pick James Harden, but I'm not going to pick him anywhere.
40 points, though. Hey, 40, 15, and 15. That's what respect.
And 40 turnovers, 50, I don't even know, man. So, Tyler, going back to the Celtics, do you think that they're ready to go with that circle, or do they need another role player or something to get them going?
See, this is the question. I don't know. I feel like they're right there, but they're not. They're like, I don't know. They just get to the playoffs, and they just – a series of 7, they just play. Like, hold on. My Siri just turned on. I don't know why that happened. Like, you get to a series of 7. Oh, never mind. That makes sense. And they struggle. They struggle. And it's like – it's been like that for, like, the last, like, 2 seasons. But, like, it felt like the season before, like, when LeBron left last season, it was like, okay, this is the one. Granted, there was still a lot of drama with him and Kyrie on the team. And then, but even when they had like that last season with IT and LeBron, and granted LeBron was still in the East, it still felt like the team was like, okay, like this team could compete. They could make it to the finals. They very well could.
Yeah.
They just like can't. There's like some hump that they just can't get over right now. And I don't know if that's they have all these young players. They just need them to fully develop. It feels like they just need like. Everybody talks about how, like, Jason Tatum is, like, the next big thing and be the next big thing. Right now, I feel like he's really inconsistent where, like, giving you 35 or he's giving you 15 or he's giving you, like, 20. Like, if he was out there, like, during big games, he was dropping, like, 30 points.
Yeah.
Then I think that's what they needed. But, like, right now, they're at a weird stage where they're not good enough to make it into the finals, but they're not a bad team, and they need to rebuild either.
See, that's the thing with NFL and NBA. NBA is my favorite sport, but I feel like the NFL, whoever makes the playoffs, they all have a shot. NBA, I feel like if you're not Lakers, Clippers, Bucks, you're not going to be winning the chip. And then, like, let's say Celtics, Rockets, Raptors. Like, you're good, but let's be honest, you're not winning the championship. So
well, I'm interested.
I'm
interested to see how. Did you see like the project or not the little thing, the presented thing for how they would do the playoffs this season.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, so if they do it that way, I wonder if that can change the whole playoff setting, because the way that it has right now, the Lakers would be playing the Nets. And if you look at the Nets and their post defense and then what the Lakers are, like, I feel like that could be a good matchup. And that could, like, all right, what a 16 seed team could compete against a 2 seed team. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I think maybe 7 games might be too long, because it doesn't give those lower seed teams enough of a chance to, like, actually, like, get out of, like, some
chance. Yeah.
Maybe 5 is ideal, because then you got, like, a 7-team seed that maybe just gets good momentum and they beat,
Right.
I think 7's too long. 7's too long for you to find the weaknesses of a team and just completely abuse them.
That's what I think with the NBA in general. 82 games for me is a lot. And don't get me wrong, I love watching them, but like you don't need 82 games to know Lakers are the best team.
Yeah, not at all. It really, what it comes down to is it's just like the last like bottom 4 slots of the playoffs, and those like we just pretty much just said was like that doesn't affect anything, because those teams are in a series of 7 they get plucked out because you can always spot their weaknesses when you're playing them 7 games.
And kind of looking at that format, and I know the NBA will never do this because of revenue and stuff like that, and the March Madness approach of 1 game and you're out. Would you love to see that? Like, I know it's never going to happen because of revenue.
I think it would be great. Maybe not even do – like, maybe you just replace All-Star Weekend with that. Like, yeah, something like that would be a lot of fun to watch. Like March Madness, because look how many years Syracuse has gotten into the tournament, and they've been like – they've barely gotten in. And then just went, what, a couple years ago, it was like, I don't know, the Elite 8 or something like that. Like, and they definitely were not that good of a team. Like,
yeah. But I know I would love to see that too, because I've seen like I don't really watch college basketball, but when it's like Final Four, I'll definitely tune in because of just the instant of knockout. Like, you're done. You're the best seed. You're number 1 seed. Who cares? You're done. That is awesome to watch. Yeah.
Yeah, I like rooting for the underdogs in those, because it's always like it's just kind of nice to see, because you're so used to like the most dominant team always winning.
So Tyler, are you a Bills fan?
I guess, yeah. I loosely follow the Bills. Loosely.
Are you like a football fan, or are you just like, it's on, let me just...
Yeah, it's like more like it's on, like I'll watch it. But like, I'm not going to go out of my way to watch the game. Although, like, I'm paying attention to it more. I just think my attention span's kind of opened up more to it. I'm more kind of interested in it. So, like, I don't know. That, like, baseball. I don't know why I enjoy watching baseball, but I just won't watch baseball. I enjoy watching it, but it's like, I don't want to go out of my way to watch a baseball game.
I don't think I've ever seen a whole baseball game. I don't think I've ever.
They're long, man. They're long.
Yeah.
I like watching them. I don't know. I don't know.
All right, guys. I think this was a great conversation. Thanks, Timo, for joining us. Me and Amit always have a good time talking to you, and we love your insight on education, MCC, and all of these, obviously basketball, our favorite topic. So thank you so much for coming on, man.
Yeah, I'm glad I could be here.
All right, man. Take care. Stay safe.
See ya.